put on the slideshow. So it was recently it was brought to my attention regarding a letter that I had sent out in March 13th, 2020. If you want to go to that slide. And somebody pointed out to me that said, you know, Carl, your letter was great. You know, sent out a lot of information, but almost 1 year later, I just want to point out a small typo in that letter. Where we said we would be back on April 3rd of 2020, which was pointed out to me. Who would have known that we would still be in this spot 1 year later? But we'll talk about some of the plans for reopening here in just a few minutes. So as we shut our campuses, go to the next slide. Yeah. So as we shut our campuses, it became even more evident, you know, that we cannot lose focus of what was most important, which was our purpose and our core values. You know, our purpose in this district is to prepare every student to live their purpose. And our core values is equity, mastery, and a focus on results. And it was even more important that we just stayed absolutely true to those. And despite any challenges that you know, came our way, these were the decision-making factors that continue to be at the forefront of any decisions that we have. But you can't have distant learning without technology. And so by August, every student that was in need of a Chromebook, they received one. And by the end of September, we'd also passed out hundreds and hundreds of hotspots for families that did not have internet service. But as you can imagine, the state and county protocols and the orders, you know, they were fluid at best. Next slide. And, you know, in our commitment, you know, when we started this pandemic, that we were going to make sure that we came out even stronger than when we entered into it. And so we also committed that we were going to maximize whatever that we were allowed to do. You can imagine, as many are on here who own businesses and city and state leaders, you know, just the myriad of challenges and protocols that just kept coming our way. So early on, we said, you know what, whatever we're able to do to maximize it, that's what we're going to do. So first, we started off with saying, you know what, in order to restart this economy, we need to make sure that we have childcare. And so for every family who needed childcare, we were able to provide it. And now over 150 families participate in childcare so that their parents and their guardians, they can go back to work each and every day. But in addition to childcare, we also developed a plan for face-to-face tutoring, where all of our teachers and students who needed that extra support, and I say some students who were allowed to return for some tutoring for instruction, we did it. We were able to come back. And so since fall, we've had hundreds of students on campus, you know, after their distant learning, to get that support that they were going to need. But we also know that not all the students were going to be able to come to school. So in addition to the face-to-face instruction, we also purchased a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week tutoring program called Paper. And students were able to access that they were able to chat with live instructors anytime during the day. And we did this for grades 3 through 12. And so if a student had a math question, they would be able to get on here and work with an instructor so that they can get their questions answered. But in addition to that, one of the other things that we were allowed to do was sports conditioning. So in the fall, the vast majority of our fall sports started their conditioning. Our coaches, they quickly developed the safety protocols and cohorts and stable cohorts of our students. And we haven't ever looked back. In just a little while, I'll give you an update on where we're at with sports, but this condition and the ability to get kids out and exercise was so important. And now it's leading to the first competitions that will be taking place in just a couple of weeks from now. In addition, I think that when we look back, we've done a tremendous job also in just coming up with creative ways to celebrate students. The restrictions have been many, but the ideas in which we can find ways to celebrate students, whether it's a materials drop-off or a virtual homecoming, you name it. As you can see, there's just some pictures here in which the district and the school sites just quickly came together and says, okay, what are we allowed to do? And how do we make this event as meaningful as possible? But also, as you can imagine, and as which we've all read, the pandemic has reared its ugly head in mental health. More than ever, we have students and adults who are both struggling, due to isolation and quarantine rules. And so early on, over the summer, our student service department, they created a web page with supports for our parents. And if you remember, about 2 years ago, the district committed about $1 million to fund 8 mental health counselors to our staff. And you can imagine how helpful that has become, and can't be more pleased and with the supports that they are providing to the kids and the families in the teletherapy. But we wouldn't even be close to where we were at if it wasn't for the 1,100 employees that work in Bonita Unified. And the thing that there's 2 words that I describe our staff, and it's really skill and will, because they have the will to make it happen and they got the skill to back it up. This is one of the most talented staff, throughout the state of California. Over 500 teachers, they answered the call to support the learning of 10,000 students. They quickly set up monitors and other tech that they needed to ensure that the learning would happen at the highest levels possible, no matter where it takes place. In addition, this is a people-first district. Knowing that the possibilities of facing tough financial times, it's always just around the corner for any business, for any city. And this district has been extremely fiscally responsible over the years. The reason to be fiscally responsible is to ensure when you do have a rainy time, you're prepared for it. And so when this pandemic hits, there's no doubt that it wasn't just a small drizzle, it was a complete downpour. And because of the fiscal responsibility of the Board of Education and the budgeting of this district, we were able to say quickly, yes to a commitment that we would lay off no one. Yes to a commitment that we would subsidize affordable childcare for our families. Yes, that we would provide extra support and help for counseling services. And the list goes on and on and on. But we would not have been able to be in that position if it wasn't for being fiscally responsible for years and years. The other thing that is a huge benefit to the community, as you can imagine, when the pandemic hit, many people were out of work and they needed that extra support. And you can see even with the partners of the chamber and our Rotaries and the Masonic Lodge, and just to name a few, the foundation and our PTAs quickly came together and found ways to support people. So to date, we've served just under 700,000 meals to families since March, all free, not one charge to families, to make sure that any student would not go hungry for breakfast or for lunch. Rain or shine, they were out there. Whether it was 100-degree weather or it was 30 degrees in hail, every day they didn't miss a beat. Also, as I've described earlier, equity is one of our 3 core values. Well, words without action, they're just that. They're just words. So this year we developed an equity committee that focuses on a respect for all. This committee is made up of students and parents and staff, and they actively meet, coming up with ideas that will continue to serve our community and our students for the better. But despite the pandemic, our goal for each student, regardless of their race or socioeconomic standing, is the same. In the next slide, you'll see some of this data. And I put up some data here because the numbers in green is our pass rate on the state's proficiency test. The red numbers is for other districts that reflect that are below us. Example, Claremont Black students pass rate for English language arts is at 40%, 20% lower than us. And I share this data with you because it's equally as important under equity, is that we look at our data with race and subgroups and special needs, and the list goes on and on. But what the important factors and the takeaway from this is to understand that we will never rest until the achievement numbers are indistinguishable between groups. We may be beating other districts, but these numbers aren't the end. There's much to celebrate, and on the same token, there's still much work to be done. And even though For the time being, we remain in a distant learning format. As you can imagine, the work, it just continues. It doesn't stop. Words cannot express the gratitude that we have for our classified staff who have been working and preparing our schools for in-person instruction. Whether it's PPE gear, getting it ready, changing out air filters to improve the circulation, the work has never stopped. One of the key for us to open back up our schools, obviously, was the county restrictions, but also our vaccines. Yesterday, we held our first vaccine clinic for our staff at Lone Hill Middle School. Several months ago, we forged a partnership with Mercy Pharmacy, located in San Dimas, and we were able to vaccinate over 150 elementary staff yesterday, amongst others who were able to get in there. But I'm proud to report that between the staff who got their vaccine on their own and through our clinic, the vast majority of our staff at the elementary level are completed. They're done with their first dose. And next week, we start to focus on our secondary staff. We anticipate by 3 weeks, anybody who wanted a vaccine in Bonita Unified will be fully vaccinated. I'm also proud to report and announce that with Lone Hill Middle School, that it's going to stay open for several weeks, as we've also partnered with other districts who will use our facility, and it will serve as a hub for the surrounding districts so that they equally can open up their doors to their students as well. So on top of everything else that's been going on, just a few challenges out there, we were also proud to be able to announce that this year we were again, for the second consecutive year, awarded the top workplace by the Inland News Group. This award is where the staff, they fill out surveys and they're the judge. It's not an outside group who judges us. The judge is those who work in here. And I think this award speaks volume about how people feel in this district. This is a people first district. A position is secondary to your name in this district. We care a great deal about everybody who works here. So now as we look forward, what we do know is that the learning loss, it's significant. Kids have been on distant learning. There's no silver lining to it. The learning loss amongst our students, it's great. And so we have to come up with a plan. And we know that a 6-week summer school program isn't going to cut it. So over the next years, we're going to continue with a robust learning program that's going to support all of our students. And this district is in the top 10% of unified school districts, in large part, not only because of our first instruction, but also because of our calculated intervention programs that we have that meet the needs of all of our students. Also, on February 5th, we announced a target date of April 5th that we'll be reopening our elementary schools, and it was based on 2 conditions. One, that we were able to do so and that the numbers made sense throughout the county, and 2, that our staff would have the opportunity to get the vaccine. Those numbers look really, really good. And soon I'm confident that we will be announcing April 5th as not a target date, but as a date, really a go date for our elementary schools. It also starts to look forward to secondary schools, and we're looking forward to announcing in the near future a date to reopen our secondary schools, and that's dependent a lot on the county tiers. Secondary has a whole other set of rules, and in order for secondary schools to open, we'd have to be at the red tier, okay? Which leads us to this, and I think this slide kind of speaks volumes of hope. March 13th, what we kind of categorized as normal, it just stopped, and it stopped abruptly. The trajectory of getting back to what we categorized as normal, it will not have a steep incline. It'll be gradual at best, okay? And it's got that road continues to have challenges and bumps that we will continue to face. But as you can see, the rules loosening up, come in a few weeks, we will have our first football games. We will have water polo and many of the spring sports that they didn't even get an opportunity to play last year will once again resume. And I share this because it's hope. It continues to provide the hope of all of the things that we enjoy to do. Bonita continues to just be a great place to be. No doubt, many of things that we have done, we've done really, really well. None of are perfect. We're not a perfect organization. But our goal, as you take you back to the beginning of this presentation, was that we will come out stronger for these challenges. And I'm confident that we're gonna do that. We're gonna come out even stronger for it. And Bonita Unified is just gonna continue to thrive. And when we do come out of this, and we will, the pandemic is a temporary, we will come out of this stronger and better for it. So I appreciate your time. I'm not gonna take up any more time because the real reason we're here with the chambers and the business is to hear what's going on in our career technical programs. So if any of you have any questions regarding the status of the district, please feel free to reach out to me. Happy to answer any of your questions, but certainly don't want to steal the spotlight of our career programs and the teachers that are here today. So with that, I will turn it back over to Terry.
Okay, I believe Leah's probably going to either take over here or Neal to introduce our career technical education instructors.
Sure, Leah, did you need to step in, or are you ready for me? Okay. And Margaret's going to queue up my slideshow, I believe. I know a lot of you, but for those of you that I haven't met yet, I'm Neal. I'm the Director of Secondary Curriculum and Instruction for Bonita Unified. And this is a great opportunity for me to get to talk about career readiness opportunities with members of our community at large. Joining us also are two of our awesome career tech teachers from San Dimas High School, Jessica Truax, and from Bonita High School, Laurie Brandler. They're going to talk, and they're such overachievers, they made short PowerPoints if we have time for that. They're going to talk about their programs and then take questions. The three of us will take questions from our community members if there are any. So let me use this opportunity now to explain a little bit about what's going on for a little bit about college readiness and career readiness for our high school students and how they tie together. So our vision is to prepare students to live their purpose, and that may mean offering them choices for college or career and preparing them for those choices as they're in high school. So how do we do that? We do that by creating CTE pathways. I'm going to explain a little bit about what CTE is upcoming. We also offer dual enrollment and career pathways articulation. So I'm going to do a little education on what all of those opportunities are. So what is Career Tech Ed? I think probably most of you remember the old moniker or label ROP, which stood for Regional Occupational Program. Career Tech is sort of replacing that terminology, and it refers to courses that are really preparing kids for career readiness. And the goal is to have a high quality CTE course. So what makes a course high quality? It means it's part of a sequence. In other words, it's not just a one-off course, but it actually is a series of courses that's preparing kids to advance in this skill. So it must be 300 hours to be a sequence. And sometimes it has an introductory course, but not always. It has a concentrator course and then a capstone course, which is the final course in that sequence. We follow the CTE pathway standards. Those are defined by national and state curriculum guidelines. Our high schools are both aware of those, and we work within those standards. And those are focused on 15 industry sectors that we're going to talk a little bit more about as I go on. And then finally, obviously, one of the most important parts, an appropriately credentialed teacher who also has enthusiasm and passion for their content area. And you're going to see that in our two teachers today. So what pathways does Bonita offer? Right now, currently at both of our high schools, we offer courses, CTE pathways, meaning there's multiple courses in this pathway for production and managerial arts, patient care, food services, hospitality, public safety, financial services, auto systems, games, visual and media arts designs, and health sciences. Those are the current pathways that we offer in our comprehensive high schools. We also have some partnerships which create opportunities for our students to take CTE courses outside of Bonita. And I saw Nena Hernandez was here. Hi, Nena. She's one of our partners at the Fairplex. So Bonita Unified students have the opportunity to take courses at the Fairplex. And these are some of the courses that they offer at the Fairplex. So a series of automotive courses where students get quite a bit of industry recognized certification for completion in the automotive. There's ceramics, there's culinary, urban farming. I don't know if you're aware of all of the work that the Fairplex has done in their farm and farm to table type food preparation. There's a water distribution course sequence there because there's quite a bit of need for a workforce in water distribution. And then just this year, right before we went off on distance learning, we had begun at the Fairplex a welding program, which is a really high need, high pay industry. And students who complete this welding will graduate from the program with a American Welding Association certification. So they'll be workforce ready. Additionally, we have a joint partnership agreement with Pomona Unified that creates the San Antonio ROP. So still using that old moniker of ROP. And we offer the following courses our students can take those as part of say ROP. You'll see there some asterisks that indicate that those courses are articulated. And I believe my next slide explains what an articulated course is. Nope, dual enrollment. I'm going to get to articulation. So dual enrollment is another opportunity that we offer for our students. Dual enrollment is for our students who are really four-year university bound. And so this is an incredible opportunity that kids who plan on attending a four-year university right out of our high schools can take dual enrollment courses and actually earn university credit while they're in high school, absolutely free to the students. So we currently offer what we call on the high school side, AP Calculus. Students actually earn 8 units of upper level math, calculus, or analytical geometry. And those are all UC, CSU approved, as well as approved for most private schools. Additionally, we offer English 12, which is senior English on the high school side of the house, but it's English 1A and 1C identified by our colleges. And that gives students 4 units of composition credit and 4 units of critical thinking, 100% transferable to their college. So earlier I talked a little bit about articulated courses, and I want to talk about this because this is a really great opportunity for our students. So we have a memorandum of understanding with Mount SAC, which is our feeder community college, and we offer articulated courses. So those are the courses that are on the right-hand side of the slide there. And the courses that we currently have that are articulated are athletic training, accounting, culinary, and animation. Students who complete these courses successfully will receive automatically those units at Mount SAC, completely free of cost to them. So the way this works is that our teachers go through a training with Mount SAC. They're actually teaching college level, community college level courses during the high school day, which is very similar to dual enrollment. The difference is the students at the end of these articulated courses in high school, which are offered during the school day, they either take an exam, or in the case of like athletic training, they do a performance where they have to demonstrate their skills and expertise on taping injuries or treating injuries. Upon the successful completion of that, they will get these units automatically. So a student who completed our accounting courses successfully would actually begin Mount SAC already with 11 units. So another really great opportunity for our kids. Finally, we've really tried to find ways to fund, because one of the things about CTE classes is they usually take some level of equipment. And so we applied for last year and we were awarded a CTIG grant, which is the Careertech Ed Improvement Grants. We're really excited because we got almost $325,000 last year to split with our high schools. And so they created plans, and part of those plans included updating our culinary rooms, buying new video equipment for our video production pathways and our crime scene investigation pathways. We added some new pathways, including sports entertainment, a medical academy, and some child development courses. We did apply for this year and we received a little over $340,000. And so our high schools are currently working on their plans now for how to continue, improve, and the existing programs and using those funds. So what are our next steps? Our next steps are to continue to expand our pathways using both district funds, Perkins, another small little fund that we get to fund Careertech Ed, and then we're going to continue to apply for and hopefully receive CTIG money. We're going to keep our strong partnership with the learning centers at the Fairplex. They've been a great partner for us, and they're offering some courses that we don't have the facilities to offer, so that's a fantastic partnership for us. And then finally, using local workforce data that Mount SAC helps to provide us, we can build new pathways based on what are the high need careers that are looking for workers who have industry certificates in this area, so that we're giving our students many, many opportunities to be career ready as they leave our high schools. I'm going to, at this time, turn things over to Laurie Brandler. I'm not sure if Laurie can see her screen or not. Laurie made a small little PowerPoint because she and Jessica are such overachievers, but they're really passionate about their program as well. So I'm going to have Laurie talk about her program, and then Jessica, and then we will be happy to answer questions, the three of us. So Laurie, you're on.
Hello, everybody. I'm sharing my screen with you now. Please tell me if I begin it or anything like that. Sometimes my students like me to go on for a few minutes because they're polite and don't want to tell me. But I run the culinary programs here at high school. So we have a 3-year pathway currently. Students come in as freshmen or sophomores and they take our intro to foods class, which kind of gives them a basic foundation of kitchen, learning measurements, kitchen math, utensils, vocabulary, how to kind of, and then for our juniors and seniors, restaurant management, which is a 2-year program. It is our program. It is the only program recognized by the National Restaurant Association. Actually created the curriculum for this program because they said what employees to know industry. So it kind of gives them an overview. The industry, both front of the house, back of the house. We do go into the whole industry, meaning event planning, hotels, lodging. We don't just focus on the restaurant industry. So let me see. Okay, CTE in particular is a passion of mine because I feel like it reaches such a broad range. Not all of our students are 4-year college bound, and not all of our students end up getting a job that they're passionate about. And I feel with a lot of CTE, what they like out of the program. They said my life skills, all their CTE class focus on just, you know, how to also how to and how to be successful in their own. We over job skills. it amazes me that I'll get that don't know what a resume is or how to act professional or how to themselves in an interview. Career, they just going to have to do that at some point. We work on their communication skills and their conflict resolution. When we are in the normal school setting, they work in groups on a lot of things. And so sometimes those groups aren't working out. I always tell them, you don't necessarily get to pick your coworker, learn how to work with different personalities, and being part of being a leader is figuring out and to use the best within. So they do a lot of that. Professionalism, I require them to be on time, to speak and appropriately. I tell them they are essentially my student, and I'm going to like that because they're going to be out into the world. And for some, it's scary. Have a soft. I'm expecting a lot of growth within the next 2 years before he's ready to go out into the world. So I'm hoping that he gets there. I work on time and really that hands-on experience, not just in the kitchen, but working on projects and tasks. They use a lot of math and science in my class. Also figuring out how to convert recipes, figuring out, right now, one of my classes, we just discussed why certain ingredients, cream of tartar, what does it do in your recipe? What do you need and why? Problem solving and opportunities to explore and find their passion. In the restaurant industry, it is a huge industry that's also suffered a lot this past year and is evolving and changing. So I've been really focused on bringing that to our students' attention. I tell them 4 out of 5 of them will have a job in this industry at some point. Now, my goal specifically for the culinary pathway for our students is their serve food handler certificate. They cannot get a job in the industry without it. So far this year, we have been able to get, I think, roughly about 140 students certified. And this is a state certification that we were able to work on in my class and get them qualified for. My class is A through G, and it meets the G requirement for them. We go through what's called a FIT training, which is it's put on by the California Restaurant Foundation, and it's basically how to get a job, how to excel at that job, and how to lead others in that job. So it translates to any industry that they are bound for. My students are also have the opportunity to earn a work ready certificate, and with that comes an automatic $5,000 scholarship to Cal Poly Pomona. We are articulated with Mount SAC, as Ann told you, but we are also articulated with the CIA and with Cal Poly Pomona. They get to go in my lower level class. We do a cultural project where they get to pick a different country and learn about the foods of that country. For our Culinary 1 students, right now they're working on their restaurant project where they had to actually come up with a restaurant concept and think about marketing, think about the menu, think about what their restaurant looks like, what employees are, all the different aspects of a restaurant. And for my advanced students, they're working on an innovation product. They have to come up with some way, some either app or product that would help out the restaurant industry. So we're all working in this online world on that right now. For some of you guys that your student might be a little inept in the kitchen, since we are online, I did not cut out Culinary Labs. So they are cooking at home. Every week we do a lab. My intro, my Culinary 1 kids are on their 21st lab. My advanced kids, I think they're on their 33rd lab of the year. So that means every week they're in their kitchen, getting their ingredients together and going through all the steps of and applying the techniques that we learn in class in the real world setting in their house. For some parents, it's very scary, but as we've gone along, they've gotten more comfortable with it. And now my kids are like, yeah, now my mom's making me make dinner every week. And, so it's been a great opportunity for them. That is the one benefit I think of the online learning is getting the parents engaged in their learning and also making the student do everything on their own. In my classroom, they have the comfort of a group. They don't have that there. You know, they're on their own. They have to figure it out. So they do get a lot of hands-on experience. We do have a state competition every year. This year it will be, it's changed, but it is virtual, and some of my students are going to be participating in that shortly. My main goal with my program is to focus on guiding my students on their journey to find their path, their passion, and their way. Whether it's in the industry or not, I think CTE classes provide the opportunity that a lot of our mainstream classes, because of test scores and curriculum and restrictions, don't get to do. And I feel like a lot of my students get to like really come alive in my class and form that bond with their teachers. And that's all for me.
Thanks, Laurie. So if we could pass things over to Jessica, I think she's got a brief presentation too, and then we'll take any questions.
Hello, everyone. I am Jessica Truax. I am new to San Dimas. This is my first year here. I don't have sharing abilities though, but I guess I can walk through it. I am a certified athletic trainer, and unfortunately a lot of the people in the public have no idea what we really do. And so we are healthcare practitioners. We are the people when there's an injury on the field running out and doing the emergency care, injury diagnosis, and treatment of those injuries, including rehabilitation of those injuries, getting them back on the field as quickly as possible. So we develop protocols, emergency action plans. We document all of our medical documentation for all of our patients. So the students are kind of getting an eye-opening experience into this different healthcare field versus some of the traditional healthcare fields. So I've been an athletic trainer for the last 17 years. I've worked at Mount Sac, Pomona Valley Hospital, long time. I was at Damien High School and started their sports medicine program, and it was award winning. And so now I'm bringing that program here to San Dimas. So to become an athletic trainer, it does require a master's degree. So unfortunately, students wouldn't be able to become an athletic trainer right out of high school, but this is preparing them for a variable types of healthcare fields as they're moving on from high school. So currently at San Dimas, we do have two classes. We have sports medicine and advanced sports medicine. In the sports medicine classes, they are learning general medical, basic anatomy, and the basic tissue injuries that we deal with commonly. And as they go into the advanced class, they're going to learn a lot of the taping, bracing, and orthopedic testing that we do when we manipulate joints and bones to figure out what is the injury diagnosis. All of that information kind of adds up into what we just started this year, which will be a sports medicine competition. So the National Honor Society of Sports Medicine and AACI have had this high school sports medicine competition for the last almost 20 years now, in which it's a written exam and a practical exam. So they have to put their knowledge to the test in the written exam, and then they have to put their skills to the test. Right now it's all pandemic, so it is virtual. So we kind of log into a computer program to do the written exam now. And the practical exam is done with one of our mock patients. So one of our other team members is the patient, and they get to do their taping, anatomical palpation, first aid skill, and orthopedic skill on their patient for an athletic trainer judge who is watching via Zoom or Google Meet. Some of the things that we've added this year that I brought over is San Dimas is now a preceptor site for the University of La Verne's Masters in Athletic Training program. We are also a site for Western Medical University. They are sending medical residents out to us to kind of observe with me on the field, sports medicine, kind of get an idea of what an athletic trainer does, and start kind of getting into the basics of how to do orthopedic evaluation as they're progressing through medical school, and the University of La Verne students as well as they're progressing through their Masters in Athletic Training program. So they're just taking what they've learned at school and now applying it in practical real time. Some of the other things I've created is the Sports Medicine Club. So it's an after-school program where students can work with me, my University of Laverne students, and kind of learn hands-on on the sidelines. So they'll be trained in the basic first aid skills and CPR skills that we do learn in class, but now they get to actually use it in real life on each other and on some of our athletes as they come along under my direct supervision. With the club, it is now also recognized as a National Honor Society of Sports Medicine chapter. And now we've got the competition team also as a new thing this year. So future plans for San Dimas and sports medicine is we are working to get an AED for our athletics team so that it is with me in case of a sudden cardiac arrest. All of our students are learning a lot of these hands-on skills. So they are doing these labs at home, even virtually. So we're kind of doing filming on Flipgrid. And currently they are working on building their own CPR dummies at home out of stuffed animals and pillows and couch cushions. And some of them are actually dressing them up and acting out the full scene versus just an instructional video. So it's great to see that and have them get really excited about doing a lot of these things. I've had students reach out and say, I've already used your first aid skills on ace wrapping on my dog, on my mom and sister. So it's kind of great to see a lot of those skills being used in real life. We're also working to create field trips once obviously the pandemic is over. The National Honor Society hosts sports medicine conferences and seminars. So I would like to really get that started. And then on top of everything else, as finances permit in the future, I would like to get anatomage tables and kind of really bring a lot more of the healthcare aspect into the classroom. Anatomage is a great anatomy program, and it's a 3D imaging table, and they kind of really get into the in-depth anatomy of athletics. They're also going to learn a lot of CPR, how to take blood pressures, pulses, and eventually these classes will obviously go through the Mount SAC program if they would like to test for those credits and get them ready for any EMT program, LVN, RN, athletic training, physical therapy, any program that they wish to go on to in the next level. I have a lot of students that have become EMTs, paramedics, doctors, chiropractors, and they said this was always a great step forward into that direction. Other than that, we are currently trying to make our equipment room into an athletic training room. So facilities that are going to hopefully in the future create a plan to make those a little bit better for us and kind of give us a new home. And hopefully we go from there. So this is my first year at San Dimas. So it's definitely trying to get off the starting point really quick and build as we go along.
Thank you, Laurie and Jessica. You guys are such a great representation of both your programs and what we do for career readiness for our kids. So I think at this time, we're willing to take questions either in the chat box or if you guys want to unmute and take turns if there are any questions.
I have a question. Hi, my name is Isabel Ebener. This is probably directed towards you, Anne. You talked about the different CTE pathways, and I'm associated with a couple of businesses in the community, a local newspaper, the San Dimas Community Post, and my husband also has a video production company. And so what I was wondering was, are the CTEs already kind of like fully formed and packaged, like all the classes and programs are done, or are there opportunities to partner with businesses in the community that say do video or media, like to offer internships to students? And maybe other people on this call are interested, maybe they have a restaurant or something. Are there opportunities for students to partner?
Yes, we would love to partner with you guys actually and give our kids opportunities for internships, both paid and unpaid. It's just a matter, that's why this is a perfect platform for this. So I can actually link you up with our video teacher and we can see, where we find some parallels and some connections. If you want to email me, I can put my email in the chat, or it's pretty easy to find me. So, and that way we can make that connection.
Perfect. Yeah, if you could put your email, I'd be happy to connect with you after. Thank you.
This is Greg Plow. I had a question as well. First, Laurie, Ms. Truax, and that was an incredible presentation. I was, engaged the whole time. But looking at both of your programs, if I was in high school and I saw both, this right now as an 8th grader, I would want to be in both. I'm wondering how kids would be able, like if I started with culinary, it wasn't my thing, can I go to something else, or how does that work out? And when do the kids pick like what's going on?
So for at Bonita, like I said, I will take freshmen and sophomores. So they would come as a freshman and sophomore in the intro class. They could then opt to not take any other classes, or they can continue. They are not locked into any program in terms of if they even decide to come to me as a junior and they take my junior class and they don't have room for culinary 2 next year, then that's fine. They can, each class is independent. I do get kids with the conflict of not having a free period. That seems to kind of, they have their other core requirements. So I always encourage my kids to take summer school and try and knock out one of their classes during summer school so they can open up an elective for the next year, and it gives them a little bit more flexibility, especially going into their senior year. I say take government and econ over the summer, so that way you can focus on your English and focus on your math, and you're not as stressed with the senior project, because our senior project is a little intense. So I think most of our CTE classes are open entrance, open exit. That kind of typifies ROP old school style, that a student can come in at mid-semester if they wanted, or mid-year, and we can catch up. It's a little bit hard in my class because of the safety sanitation issue that we go over in the beginning of the year. So I really kind of drill the kid when they come in at the semester to make sure that I get them up to date on that aspect. But I think for a lot of our classes, it's open entry, open exit.
Thank you, Alta. You had a question?
Yes, well, I actually have a statement. I really want to thank Bonita Unified for getting past the old thought that everybody was going to four-year university. We have so lacked the education in trade and vocational ed that we have a lot of kids that probably would be much more successful, and now will be much more successful because they're going to learn their passion. And I think that is so exciting. I'm a foundation board member at Mount SAC. I love Mount SAC. I'm so glad that Bonita Unified has partnered with Mount SAC, because they offer just amazing trade and vocational ed. And you hit it on the button when you talked about welding. Students that come out of welding, folks, start out at between $60,000 and $80,000 a year. Think about that. That's a trade. And there are so many more out there. And I love the industry with getting the kids into restaurant. I was a travel agent for a while, hated it. But anyway, went to college for it. But there is so much money to be made, and there's so many job opportunities in restaurant and hotel and travel, in the travel industry. So I just want to say to the three of you amazing ladies that presented today, thank you very much for taking the lead on this, because when we talk about purpose for our students, this is meeting their needs of purpose. This is exactly what they want to do, and you guys are leading the path, and thank you so much for that.
Hey, Alta, that's a great segue into this. I think it's a great highlight. You hit the nail on the head. We recognize the district, not all kids are going to go to college.
Nope.
And that's okay. And it goes back to the purpose, right? Our purpose is to prepare everybody so that they can live their purpose, right? Not the other way around. And Laurie would never brag about it, so I'm going to do it for her. But just the other day, she received a letter from a student that highlights exactly what you were just talking about. And I'm not going to read it all, but I'll just read a few of the lines. And it's about a student who just recently graduated. And the question was, who was the best leader I've ever had? And what qualities made her or him so amazing? First sentence: one of the best teachers I have ever had would be my former hospitality teacher, Laurie Brandler, from my high school. And he goes on to say, I don't think you will believe this, but I will be graduating at the end of May from his post program in the restaurant industry. Because I can't believe this time 5 years ago, I was wondering what I was going to do after high school. How times have definitely changed since I was thinking about post high school. And he ends with this sentence: I can easily say, if it were not for her, referring back to Laurie, and what she did for me, I would not be half of where I am today and how I am just getting started. That speaks volumes for Laurie, but volumes that goes back to the greater purpose and for all of our CTE programs and just the mindset in this district that it's about us fulfilling the needs of students and giving them the opportunities. Rather it's sports medicine or it's hospitality, whatever it is, right? It's their purpose. And going back to the partnerships, we're just going to continue to grow. We're not done, right? I don't know if there's ever a destination because the minds and the hearts of kids can constantly change. And so going back to that purpose, it's our jobs to continue to find ways to meet their needs, not the other way around, where it's kids' jobs to find ways to meet our needs. And so, Laurie, thank you for that. And Ms. Truax, you guys rock. And, but also I just wanted to highlight your comments. I think it was fitting.
And you mentioned that Mount Stack was doing a study to determine future workforce needs. Do you have any more information on that?
Yeah, they actually have a center that studies workforce data. And so they provide workforce data on the county. It's County of Los Angeles, which industry sectors have the highest need for workforce.
Oh,
I believe it's called the Center for Excellence at Mount Sac.
thank you.
And they're a partner for dual enrollment as well. So lots of good partnerships with them.
Great. Do we have any other questions at this time? Okay. Fantastic. Well, I want to thank you so much from the school district, Superintendent Coles, and from the CTE program, and Jessica and Laurie for joining us today. Anne did include her email address into our chat function. So again, if you are a business that wants to create some sort of strategic partnership or offer internships for these amazing students, please reach out. That is the purpose of this program, really, is to make those connections between our education and our business community. And at that, right on the nose at 12 o'clock, we are calling it a day. Oh, and yes, Sylvia and I from the San Dimas Chamber would also like to remind you that our 2021 Teacher of the Year Awards will be hosted on May 26th. And if you are interested in a sponsorship opportunity to recognize our outstanding teachers who have worked even harder this year than every other year, please reach out to us, and there are sponsorship opportunities available. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do technology and talk at the same time. It doesn't work well for me all the time. Right, there we go.